What is happening, Magnus? So, YouTube has changed the algorithm and is affecting people as large as Mr. Beast. This should be interesting. This clip is making its rounds. PBD podcast. I suggest you check them out. There's men, real men on that channel. They're based. They know what they're talking about. And they always have interesting information on them. I've been watching them pretty much since they started. So, yeah. Let's check this out, folks. And I will chime in when need be.
An article came out saying that YouTube today, interesting thing about algorithms with YouTube, Mr. Beast's viewership, they said, has dropped 50%. Why has it dropped to 50%? He used to get these videos, 900 million views, 500 million views, 400 million views. Now it's 60 to 100.
Mr. Beast has dropped by 50%. That's crazy. See, when you hear about shadow banning, you know, there's people that think they've been shadow banned. I saw a video on that, and that's related to this real quick, but I saw a video on that, and they said that if you've really been shadow banned, if it is a thing, they said you need to check your impressions and your analytics. If you have extremely low impressions, most likely something has probably happened to your channel. But I don't think I've heard of being shadow banned, but it seems to be this urban legend of whether it's really true or not. You get what I'm saying? However, so think about it. If your views drop by half immediately, overnight, some type of stuff like that, you might think something like that happened. However, because I'm a YouTuber and I've been doing this for 14 years now, I'm a super duper YouTuber now, right? Wow, 14 years. Wow. Sounds like a marriage. Yep, 14 years. We still together. So I've been through several changes and my own views have dropped. And I remember when it happened. You always know when it happened. However, there have been several algorithm changes that I've been through. There was a point where there's an explosion during the reaction, era, when a lot of people were getting into doing reactions, and there weren't really that many, but there was a point where people didn't get as many views anymore for doing reactions. But that didn't really affect my channel. There were other things too that happened, in YouTube. Like YouTube will cleanse your channel of any bots. And that's like once a year that happens. You might notice your channel drops by a few thousand subscribers or a few hundred, depending on how big you are. That's because they're all bots that watch your channel. So they get rid of those for you. But as far as the algorithm changes, apparently last year around September, something happened. And I noticed, but I didn't notice in September. I noticed around I guess you could say October, November. People, and a lot of videos were coming out too. Like people are like, yo, what's going on? And I've been through it several times to where they make an algorithm change and I'll notice something weird with my views. It happened with DeFranco. I remember when that happened because I went looking for videos talking about it because I was like, what the hell is going on with my views today? And this was like a couple of years ago or something like that. And he was talking about how all of a sudden his videos had no reach and something was going on, and people were talking about it's because they changed the algorithm. And I'm telling you, if you're a YouTuber and you're trying to go long term on YouTube, you have to adapt to the algorithm changes. You do. You have to adapt. You just have to adapt. I'm always experimenting with different types of videos. I don't really go out of my realm, but for years, I've always experimented with trying different videos. And I know my audience pretty well for the most part. You guys fool me sometimes. I've been doing new thumbnails now. And the thing with the thumbnails is I wanted to pizzazz them up a little bit, enhance them. And I've been trying different ones, and the majority of you love the new thumbnails that I'm doing. But YouTube has a way of testing it. You can test 3 thumbnails, and you can see what you're, so I know what to keep giving you more of. And that's how we do it with our views. We know with our views what you like. Sometimes they throw us off. Sometimes I'll do a video on something and I'm like, I didn't actually think that was going to get any views. Because sometimes I do videos that I know are going to get low views, but I want to talk about it. So that's why I do it. You know what I'm saying? But I still give a main staple of views that you guys like, and it keeps the channel alive and active and consistent, bringing in the revenue that I need, to survive, and I'm good. I told you I live like I'm poor anyway. The other day, somebody was like, yeah, he lives like he's poor, but he's got 3 PlayStation 5. He doesn't understand the difference between business expenses and your living expenses. But you get dumb comments like that all the time. So I'm going to continue this, but yeah, something happened last year, man. And certain changes are still going on. You got a bunch of YouTubers talking about like a ton of channels got deleted, and it was like mistakes that were being made because the channels weren't really AI slop. They were real people. Like it can be totally an excellent life as a YouTuber, but it's got its problems. So, yeah.
20 million views. Now somebody said, well, listen, give me a 60 to 120 million. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean
that's his business,
impacted.
though.
What did YouTube do? YouTube on the back end controls what? Go look at
everything.
Any of the top 50 podcasts that we follow and go to their YouTube channel. You'll notice, why is this guy down to 600,000 views, 200,000 views, 800,000? He used to get 4.8 million views. Why is that guy that used to do 600,000 views down to 300,000 views, 150,000 views? What you will notice is the following. Rogan is number one podcast in 94 countries on Spotify. But on YouTube, it's who? Someone else, Midas Touch. But why is that? Why is YouTube putting this? Because YouTube came out and said they used to favor, because they control recommendations. The algorithms of YouTube, they control recommendations. Like, do you remember during COVID? During COVID, they're like, if you use the word, there was certain word you used on the title, it would just drop off.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever the words were. During COVID, there was like 50 words they didn't like. If you used it, it would automatically drop off. So don't use the word. All right, so people didn't use the word.
So started hearing people call it the coof, or, they're saying the ouchie Fauci or the jab. They're saying different words to get around talking about, the whole thing.
Guess who controls the knob on YouTube viewership right now? YouTube does. You know what YouTube did? YouTube controlled the knob, and it was long form suggestion, and YouTube went like this and said short form. We don't want any more long form recommendation.
I remember when that happened too. And I think that actually happened a couple of times. And I remember it was like a gold rush of people making shorts all the time. Shorts aren't really my thing. I've been experimenting with them from time to time now. It's interesting because I've actually uploaded like a trailer reaction. Because shorts go from 1 to 3 minutes. You can, go that long now. Used to be only 1 minute. But I noticed that there was somewhere it was like, why did the short get more views than the regular trailer reaction? You know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh, I guess the rumor is true that shorts get pushed widely. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. But I hear the money on shorts is horrible. So it don't matter. It's like you give me 5 billion views on a short. It's like, if I'm making a tiny fraction of what my normal long form videos make, I mean, that doesn't work for me as a creator. But I heard there are certain creators out there where there's like a guy out there that apparently his main channel makes less money than his shorts channel. He has a shorts channel that he just uploads a tons of shorts from whatever his long form videos are. And they only get, apparently, who I heard it from, I could swear I heard them say they all get like a few hundred, but just so many of them that He gets paid, but I don't know how that works. I don't, but whatever.
Guess what YouTube announced last year?
Going back to long form.
YouTube last year announced as of July 15th, if it's a faceless YouTube channel, we're no longer paying you AdSense.
Yep.
What do you mean? So whoever controls the knob controls the viewership. So there is an element of the media changing on what they're
Yeah, I don't know about that faceless thing. There's plenty of faceless channels that are monetized. I think you might be talking about that whole AI thing that's going on right now.
favoring now. It's purely YouTube algorithm. Watch this. In mid-2026, they just made the announcement. YouTube's algorithm is increasingly favoring smaller emerging channels by prioritizing high-retention content over subscriber count. So
I have noticed that. Now in my feed, I will see somebody with 5 views. I never used to see that before. And I'm talking about the whole time I've been on YouTube. I've only seen the big boys. Anyway, anyone that was like mid-level to high-tier YouTuber, that's all I saw. Now I'll see someone with 5 views get recommended to me. So, if anything, it's a great time to be a new YouTuber.
what is YouTube doing that? They want more new people. Because imagine YouTube sitting in a meeting and they're saying, man, we're not having as many new content creators.
Yeah.
I don't know if this makes sense. Like if you go look at last week, Instagram did a massive purge of followership. Rob, can you go to Instagram purge last week? I want to say Kylie Jenner lost 14 million people on followership in a single day. Can you type in purge?
That's crazy. They did that before, where like a bunch of people lost a bunch of fake followers. I remember that.
Purge, what happened last week? Branson lost millions. Look at this, Vinny. Welcome to the greatest bot purge of 2026. Go a little bit lower, May 8th. Exactly a week ago.
Bot
Can
purge.
You go to the
See?
names of people that
Told
lost
you.
the amount of people?
But I
lost?
think before it was because the celebrities were getting a bunch, they were paying for a bunch of bot followers to make themselves look better. But this time it might be true bots, because I got bots in my comments all the time, man. It's ridiculous.
Because right there. Okay. So there was Kim Kardashian, Kylie Jenner, account losing 15.2 million. Cristiano Ronaldo lost 15 million followers in one day.
Wow.
Kardashian lost 9.19.
Wow.
Kylie Jenner lost 7.12. Taylor Swift lost 7.2. Nike alone lost 5.9 million followers in one day. Purge, right? So if you look at
I
somebody,
was just looking at my Instagram numbers yesterday, and I was like, wait a minute. Wasn't I higher than this? That's probably what happened. I had bots, even at my small level, I had a bunch of bot followers.
whose followership gets to a point and it doesn't change anymore, it's because you found your audience that's interested in you. They're no longer like, now you have to either make a change or a shift or get a new audience to get the new audience. So YouTube hit a mark where they're like, we already have so many people that are content creators. We're everywhere in the world. What do? Then they said, stop recommending the big popular podcast. Start recommending the smaller podcasts. Why do you want to recommend the smaller podcasts? Why do you want to
kind of help bring everybody up?
Young people to believe in themselves
because
and
you don't think the
creating
bigger
new content.
podcasts are going to stop, except you're going to inspire the smaller podcasts to climb up. Like, you know how you'll come and you say, I don't know what's going on, but I think YouTube's on my side right now. I'll say, hey, don't mess with that. Because whatever the algorithms are on. So this is the part that you have to pivot. You have to adjust as a content creator and find out if they want to build a media company.
I'm telling you right now, that's an algorithm change can be a blessing, or it can definitely feel like you are cursed. It can feel like that. Like I said, I remember, and you know what? When I think back to it, it may have been an algorithm change, and maybe not a. I thought that the adpocalypse had hit me later. I think what happened, because I remember when the adpocalypse hit. I mean, people were losing their minds. I mean, their YouTube business was going down the drain. People had to, lay people off that were on their team, to make it their channel. Like, for me, it's me. No one does anything for me. I like being a one-man band. Okay, a one-man gang, a Swiss Army knife, a jack of all trades. I personally like handling all of my stuff. So all you people sending me emails, hey, I'd like to edit your video. I don't want it. I just prefer to do things on my own. So, but I remember this one change hit my channel and I was concerned. And it's the only time I've ever been a YouTuber where I was actually concerned. I was like, whoa, what is going on? But every month, I always, we get paid once a month. I always had enough money, but things had, instead of climbing, not even staying even keel, it started dipping. I was like, what's going, this was before I got with Scarlo. You know what I mean? Me and I've been with her for a while. So it's like, I was like, what the, and then everything eventually climbed up and I was good again. But this stuff is scary, man. It's almost like sales. They tell you if you get in sales, they call it feast or famine. And you have to learn to adapt as a salesperson and be able to sell to different people during different financial climates that are going on in the country. You know what I'm saying? Right now, restaurants are doing horribly because of the financial conditions of the country. There are several businesses that aren't doing too well. You understand me? So you have to be able to evolve. If you like a steady paycheck that you know exactly what it's going to be every time, stay in a 9-to-5 or get a salary job. You're good to go. But if you want to be a YouTuber, which is similar to sales and certain things in that type of field, you got to learn to manage yourself. You got to understand how to manage your money. You have to learn to move with the algorithm. I'm telling you. Okay?
You're seeing the big foxes and these companies that are now bringing talent and saying, hey, do a podcast. Hey, we'll support you doing this. Everyone has to pivot. But the reality, what the world is learning, is whoever controls the knob controls the future content creators. Okay, is Nick Fuentes on YouTube? No. Why is he not? Because of who controls the knob.
Of course.
Okay, so where is he back on? X. Why? Because of who controls the knob.
Elon.
Where is he at? He's at Rumble. Why? Because of who controls the knob. So you just got to keep in mind, whenever these companies want to elevate somebody or destroy somebody, they can't because they control the knob. This is a nasty part of the story. Now, this doesn't mean...
Yeah, that's any business. Whoever's at the top can get you. That's any business.
That's the main reason and only reason that, they're having...
I remember when I was in sales, they would run different promotions for the salespeople. So at one point, I used to sell security systems, right? So home security systems. And I remember we were getting paid through the nose. We was getting some good paychecks for selling this one particular system that they wanted us to pay. So they offered incentives. Then all of a sudden, they didn't want to pay us well no more for that system. And one of the senior salespeople said to me, he was an older guy, he was like, this happens all the time. The employees, the salespeople find a way to max out their pay system. Okay? They find a way to maximize it. And then the bosses up top cut your pay all the time because the employees truly learn how to manipulate the system for themselves. So then they manipulate it back. The other way, they making too much money on this. No.
Hard time with it? No. Do bots play a little bit of game? Probably, but not that much. Is it YouTube controlling the knob? And that's why I'm being shadow man. I've never liked when people said I'm being shadow man. No, just improve your content. Yeah. Make it better. This is a brutal...
Well, it's not about making it better sometimes. Sometimes it's about making it different. Sometimes it's a different format. Making it different or doing what you do but talking about something slightly different or taking a different aspect of it. Sometimes it is just improve. However, you will find some of the best videos out there. And it'll be someone who has a great camera, great microphone, perfection with their lighting. They got every bell and whistle. And they don't do as good as the guy sitting in his car talking in his phone with nothing but the phone. You see what I'm saying? So it does depend. It really does depend. But I always say you should err on doing your best. You know what I'm saying? For your videos, doing what you can. Especially a lot of people, it's a side gig to them until they can make it their full-time gig. You put what you can into it. Don't stress yourself out. Put what you can into it. But the important thing is to start. Every YouTuber that I've ever talked to wish they had started earlier. Because you always rethink, oh, I need this, I need that, I need a microphone, I need a new camera, I need a new camera phone, I need some software, I need this, I need that. There's so much stuff you don't need. Trust me on that.
Brutal business to be in. The moment you take
Brutal.
a camera and you go, I believe such and such, you are going to get attacked.
100%.
So if you don't like it, don't use the words, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You could say you love peanut butter, and it's going to be somebody telling you you're dumbass and you're stupid and, oh my God, peanut butter is gross. What's wrong with you? And, no, I just like peanut butter.
I believe. Just be quiet. But if you do say, I believe, in my opinion, expect people to come and hate on you. That's part of the territory, period. And they're going to get it right now. But
Although, I think saying I believe is different than saying in my opinion, because in my opinion usually gets people less heat because you're saying, well, this is what I think. This is not what I believe to be true, total fact, and this is the way it should be. See, that lets people off the hook. Because if you're talking like ironclad, this should be like this, that's when people start arguing in the comments and attacking you with other videos and stuff. But people will attack you with videos for anything. It doesn't matter. Whether you say, in my opinion, whether you say, I believe, whether you say this should be this, whether you say this exists, this doesn't exist, it's just ridiculous.
trust me, in 6 months it's going to be somebody else. In a year it's going to be, then they're going to say, whoa, let me tell you what's going on with PBD Pod. Let me tell you what's going on. You're in the arena. Expect the heat that's going to come with it. But you can't also be like, well, I don't really give a shit what people say about me. You're an idiot when you say stuff like that. You're a clown. You're an arrogant, entitled person when you say, I don't give a shit what people think about me. If that word has ever come out of your mouth on the idea that I don't need to improve, you're a has-been and the market's going to...
Well, that's two different things. I've seen plenty of people say they don't care what people think about them. They're very successful and very successful on YouTube. I've seen people say that, wait a minute, he said, I don't care what people think about me. Then he said, oh yeah, that he didn't need to change or something like that. Let me hear what he said again real quick.
On the idea that I don't need to improve.
That you don't need to improve. Yeah. Well, that's totally different. When you're a YouTuber, when you're someone in the public eye, no matter what it is, needing to improve is a different conversation than I don't care what other people think of me. What you will find in plenty of success courses and books, and you'll hear people speaking on it, you can't care what other people think of you. You have to have your vision. You have to move forward. And you need to plan your work that plan, and you may have to make course corrections on your vision, but strive toward it. You know what I mean? I don't agree with him on that, unless he's saying that when people say, oh, I don't care what people think about me, I don't need to improve my videos or change my videos. Okay, then that can be ignorant or arrogant. Sometimes you need to take a step back and be like, okay, well, what's going on? Okay, if it's not the algorithm this time, what is it? You see what I'm saying? Then you might have to make some changes or some improvements.
A has-been, and the market's going to destroy you. I don't care who you are. If my kids come up to me and let's just say Dylan starts scoring a bunch of goals, he becomes the best player, and he's in the car and says, I don't care what the new coach says about me. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? No. What did the coach say? He says, well, I'm not running as much as I used to. He's right. What do you mean? Yeah, take his feedback. What do you mean you're not running? Well, I don't care what he says. No. That's not how life flies. You got to make sure you go out there.
I don't agree with that either. It depends. You take the criticism in and you think about it. You think about if it works for you. Some of the greatest out there did their own thing. They listened to the coach most of the time, but sometimes they made certain decisions in their career that definitely worked for them, specifically tailored for them. You know what I'm saying? But if if the entire team depends on you, you're that damn good, and the coach tells you you're doing something wrong, take that to heart because the coach helped you get there in the first place. But sometimes upper management can be wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Take that feedback. So we'll see what happened here. I'm optimistic long term. I think he's still young. There's going to be a lot of highs, a lot of lows, and then at the end of the in 20 years, 2046, we'll look back and see where this thing takes us.
Yeah. The arrogant guy doesn't even think about the criticism that they get. You know what I'm saying? From their coach or from people that are in charge and stuff like that. You gotta at least listen. You know what I mean? See it from their side. One of the best things I learned from this one particular relationship I was in years ago is to try to see things from the other person's perspective, because that can totally change your view on life. And it did for me when I learned it in that one particular relationship I was in. I was like, I tell you one thing I learned from being in this, definitely try to see it from different people's perspective about how they see it. You know, sometimes you'll see it from a perspective to where it can make things worse. It's like, well, I see it from their perspective, but they're ignorant to the fact of A, B, and C about me. So that's the reason why they think that, because they don't know about this. You see what I'm saying? Or they don't know this or that. But sometimes it can, it's like showing you a mirror. So it's like, you know what? You're right. I didn't think about that. Thanks for telling me. But the arrogant guy, it's just can't nobody tell him nothing ever. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, post comments down below. Let me know what you all think about this. Very, very interesting. If you're thinking about being a YouTuber, think twice. But if it's on your heart and you want to do it, stay consistent and just know there's going to be dips and rises and falls, and you're going to have it's going to go like this sometimes. There's going to be a lot of stuff, but you build that loyal fan base. It's a great thing to have people that have your back and have that many that have your back like that. You know what I'm saying? Thank you all for having mine. 10 million subscribers. Woo!